Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good, Arielle. So great to be here.
Thank you for joining me. For
Thank you for
those of
having me.
you, for those of you who don't know Sarah, she is a certified alcohol-free and mindset coach and the founder of Pure Clarity, a community dedicated to mindful drinking and mindful living. After transforming her own relationship with alcohol, Sarah's committed to alcohol-free lifestyle and now supports women who are curious about living with more clarity, balance, and confidence, whether they're taking a short break, exploring sober curiosity, or embracing long term alcohol free living. And she integrates tools from hypnotherapy and NLP, which is a neuro linguistic programming tool, and mindset coaching, along with her background in fashion, real estate, events, and wellness to create an inclusive, judgment free space for growth. Based in Southern California, Sarah hosts coaching programs, retreats, and collaborations that empower people to feel their best without alcohol. Welcome
Wow.
again. Yes.
Thank you.
So I wanted to have you on because Mama Soul hosts, we host an expert series on wellness. And what better topic than alcohol free living, in my opinion, because to me, that is the source of wellness. I think now, and we'll talk more about this, but alcohol levels in the US have dropped significantly. Less and less people are drinking. And I want to dive into more about that and why, and for people who are interested, what they can do to start. So, Sarah, welcome. And can you share a little bit more about your journey and how you became an alcohol free living coach?
Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Arielle. So, I drank since the age of 15. It was kind of like the rite of passage. I grew up in England, and it was something that I aspired to be able to do, to drink. And I went from the age of 15, and I actually retired my drinking career around the age of 48. So I'm 52 now. And it really was a long journey of wow, a cycle that was very toxic at times. And when things weren't going well in my life or um, behaviors, guilt, shame, regret, came up, alcohol was always involved.
Mm-hmm.
I had tried to give up drinking so many times, but I didn't want to let it go, Ariel. It was pervasive with me. It was, my life is going to be over, until I really reached the place where I made a commitment and said, no more. I can't drink anymore. And then I went on to this whole journey and path of self-discovery, which took me to coaching, because I realized that at the time I'm not wanting to drink anymore. I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't
Yeah.
know where to go. I didn't know where the resources were. I didn't know who to ask for help. But really, it just was it was a very life-changing and transformational decision for me.
And Sarah, I know I have never asked you this, and for those of you who don't know, Sarah and I have become friends not too long ago. Did you have like a rock bottom moment that led you to just dropping alcohol, or was it just like what you said, just all of these different experiences combined, and you had this aha moment?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ariel. I really feel the rock bottom moments were kind of mounting. There wasn't a DUI, there wasn't any jail time, I didn't lose a job, but the cycle of blackouts, not remembering, parts of an evening that I attended at a party or a dinner, binge drinking secretly, hiding drinks in my closet, or, hiding my alcohol consumption. Seeing the look in my son's eyes when they know I had drunk too much, and that kind of um, just disappointment,
Yeah.
despair, and really becoming who I wasn't. My behavior would reflect when I had drunk too much, and that really isn't who I am fundamentally. So,
Thank
there were
you.
times where I had woken up and just couldn't remember, what had happened before I went to sleep. And that's just not a way to live. It's not a way to live consciously. It's not a way to show up for the people in your life and what's important to you.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really vulnerable, and I think a lot of people can relate to all of that. So now you've created Pure Clarity. Can you tell us a little bit about Pure Clarity and when did you launch this? And I kind of understand why now, but like tell me a little bit about the why.
Yeah, I really launched Pure Clarity because I wanted to create a platform and a community where people could come together. You know, we are a herd mentality as a society, and I wanted to provide resources and I wanted to provide experiences for people to come and experience non-alcoholic brands, hear inspiring speakers, get resources, get education, connect, build community, experience modalities that support wellness.
Yeah.
So I've had some of the best thought leaders and teachers in the space support and come to my events and teach at my events in yoga, meditation, breath work, fitness. Some people have never experienced any of those modalities, but fundamentally, we need these kind of things to support our well-being.
Yeah.
And when we don't have good well-being, we tend to look for other things to escape, to cope, and those aren't things that are sustainable.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I I mentioned this earlier, that, and thank you for that. I think that's so wonderful to have a platform and community like that because,
yeah,
like I said, drinking rates have dropped so significantly, and there needs to be something like that out there for people to have to connect to and to meet other people that are living in the same way.
yeah.
Personally, I was a big drinker throughout my early, I would say my late teens, early 20s. And I would be in college and I would drink until I blacked out and waking up for tailgates at 7 a.m. And first thing I did was have a vodka soda. And it's just so gross now that I think about it. I just couldn't even imagine it now. I feel like drinking is just a poison, honestly. I don't sleep well when I'm drinking. I feel like, yes, it feels good once in a blue moon to have a cocktail and just take the edge off, but I never feel good after. I never sleep through the night. And that really affects me the next day. And it's just, for me, it's just not worth it. And so I mentioned, there has been a big cultural shift in the US. Drinking rates are at historic lows. What's
54%,
what?
54% Ariel of the US are drinking now, which is historically low, been the
Yes.
lowest since 1996.
It's pretty astounding to me. Like I never ever would have thought that that would happen in the United States. But I think the information, I want to ask you what you think's driving that, but I personally feel like, the information is much more prevalent now than it used to be online to
Yes.
understand the effects of alcohol and what it does to us and how it kills our brain cells and all of these things. But what do you think has driven that?
I really feel that the choice has been redefined on what it means to choose now, conscious versus conditioned, not deprivation, but empowerment. We're
Yeah.
having so many more people, Ariel, now come out and stand behind the decision that they don't want to drink anymore. And
Yeah.
before it was somewhat shame-based. People didn't want to make that statement that they're not drinking. With all the information that's coming out about really how it's affecting our health, and the stats and the awareness and the, mainstream now, doctors are coming out and saying drink is not good for you.
Yeah.
People are listening. People are ready for a change because deep down, it's a conditioned thing that we do in our society rather than really a conscious one.
Yeah. I also feel like drinking really takes you out, like you said, of being conscious and like aligned
Yeah.
and present. It really takes you out of being present.
Yeah.
And so for me, like I'm on this manifestation journey, and this, and drinking just so does not align with my values anymore. And
Right.
so I'll, like I said, once in a while I'll have a drink here and there, but my everything in my body, whenever anyone asks me if I want to drink, it says no, I don't want it
Right. Right.
because my dreams are so big. And why would I want to derail what could happen and what could be with a drink? And that's just how I feel. Um,
Ariel, just as a
yeah,
side note, I'm so in awe of everything that you have created and what you're doing with your brand and the way you live your life. I'm just, it's incredible. It's
thank
incredibly
you.
inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, Sarah, I want to ask you, what misconceptions do you still hear about people who choose not to drink?
The misconceptions around people that choose not to drink is that they have a problem, that they're
Mm.
an alcoholic,
Hmm.
and also that they're not going to be fun anymore. I remember a friend when I had, made the statement and, declaration that I wasn't drinking anymore
Yeah.
at a weekend away for a 50th birthday party. This one friend said, "Well, you're not going to be fun anymore."
Yeah.
And there's no evidence to support that. That's the problem.
No.
It's an opinion that people can have and say, well, if you give up drinking, you're not going to be fun anymore.
Yeah.
And that's not true. But when
No.
do we really give it the opportunity to try that out?
Yes, I totally agree. And I also really like what you said about then you have a problem. I never had a
Right,
problem with alcohol. I
right.
easily could have stopped. It was not an addiction by any means. But I drank because I was in college and I was having fun. But
Yeah,
I stopped now for the reasons I mentioned. And it's really just to have pure clarity.
yeah. There you are.
Exactly.
And
Okay,
it's
so
amazing when we go back to your college days, Arielle, it's a herd mentality. It's the same thing as I was referencing
totally.
earlier. You're drinking because everyone is drinking around you. And it's okay to put your hand up and say, you know what? Tonight I'm not going to drink.
Hmm.
And it's amazing, Arielle, to see and hear the stories from my clients and my community that and when I've even said this, other people can follow. It validates a decision that they wanted to make, but they were too afraid to actually put their hand up and say that, me
Totally.
too.
Well, what I've noticed is that I go out on girls' nights a lot, and the waiter will ask if anyone wants anything to drink. And in the past, we all would get, martini or something.
Right,
And now we're all like, I don't need to drink tonight. And it really
right,
is just becoming more of a thing where we don't need it. And
right.
what the bill is lower, let's be honest.
Oh my gosh, the bill's way lower.
Way lower. Okay, so tell me, Sarah, how can brands and communities like Mama Soul make sober curiosity feel inviting and not isolating?
Yeah, I really feel that obviously what you've built and what you've created, Ariel, is you're creating a conscious community. And that is a lifestyle. That's not just one decision in a vacuum, right? It's a conscious community that you're creating through what you put on your body and what you put in your body. And making that connection about a lifestyle and not just one little decision makes all the difference in the world because people that are actually wanting to, use your products and live more mindfully want more resources, more ways to do that,
Yes.
more
Yes.
of the gamut, they want, okay, more, more. And the more that we can expose our communities to those resources, the more value that the brand has overall.
That's so true. I think having you on is really going to open the floodgates here to the
Mm,
discussion, and I'm really excited to see what everyone thinks about it.
yeah,
So
me
you're
too.
certified in hypnotherapy, NPL, and mindset coaching. First of all, I would love you to explain NPL to those who don't understand it, and how do those tools help people break subconscious drinking habits?
Rewiring and reconditioning our mind is one of the most powerful things to do when we're trying to make a change in our life. And we can't do that unless the mind and the brain are rewired. And NLP is really just replacing negative thought patterns with positive thought patterns.
Which can
And
be applied to everything in our life. Yes,
everything. You know, Willpower is a myth, Ariel. We're not going to make a decision to do something and make a change with willpower. It doesn't work. When I first stopped drinking, I used a rewiring of hypnotherapy tapes in the beginning every night. And I really feel that that is the foundation of my success today, of how I started on this journey. And that's why I became so passionate about being a coach and really focusing on the rewiring of people's minds and bodies and our responses to the mind. Our body responds to certain things, emotions, beliefs, and neuro-linguistic programming really focusing it is on in on that.
and Sarah, do you only focus on alcohol-free living, or it sounds like with NLP, you could be focusing on really just changing, like almost just helping somebody with depression, even too?
100%. I have clients that aren't coming to me for alcohol-free living. They're actually coming to me for mindset.
Hmm.
I have one client right now that has actually a Tony Robbins coach, and he has me as an additional supplement to supplement his coaching in life of where he wants to be. And really, we're working on his negative thought patterns
Hmm.
in his business, why he makes the decisions, why he does, his emotional control. And we've been doing a lot of hypnotherapy together and we've been having astounding results. And the one thing that
Wow.
he loves about my coaching style is that I make it very hands-on for him. It's very it's a very personal application that he's making instead of just being, told to do a certain thing. It,
Yeah.
it it's very powerful,
Yeah.
the shifts that we've made with him.
Yeah. I mean, this could apply to eating late at night. It could apply to smoking
Emotional eating.
cigarettes. It can
Yeah.
apply to so many different things. And I think
100%.
anybody could benefit from what you're teaching.
Yeah. And
Um,
obviously, the neural pathways that we build up over doing the same thing over and over again have to be broken down and then rebuilt with a new pathway.
yes, totally. What are some of the limiting beliefs you see most often around alcohol?
Yeah, so let's determine limiting beliefs for those that may not even know what that really
Yes,
means.
please do.
So really, Ariel, it's the beliefs that we hold on to justify why we want to do a certain thing.
Mhm.
Right? So limiting beliefs can be, well, I have to drink because how am I going to go on vacation and have fun? I have to drink because that's the only way that I can sleep. I have to
Mm,
drink because that's the only way that I can unwind.
yep.
That holds you in a certain pattern even if the results aren't positive, it
Yes.
holds you there. So when we are actually aware and conscious of our limiting beliefs, they're limiting us to that point in time in our lives, we can never move beyond them and get to the other side. So we have to be aware of them.
Do you
And
help
we have,
people reframe their limiting beliefs?
yes,
So
yes.
if
There's
somebody
a
had
whole
a
reframing.
yes, if somebody had a limiting belief that was, and I honestly, to everybody listening, I use Chat GPT to help rewire some of my limiting beliefs. So if I
Yeah,
feel like, I have like, for example, early on when we launched Mama Soul, I thought that we had a smaller budget than a lot of other big brands. And so I said, how we have such a small budget, how are we going to have, big success? And I reframed it to say, our budget may be small, but our message is mighty and it will reach the masses.
love
And
it.
so that's how I reframed that one. Tell me how
Yeah.
you would reframe one that says, alcohol, I cannot unwind without alcohol. And if I'm putting you on the spot,
No, it's okay. Just give me a second for that. I cannot unwind without alcohol. I am deeply relaxed without alcohol. I'm deeply relaxed without alcohol, and I don't need alcohol to relax. I mean,
yeah, that's a good reframe. I like that.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm deeply relaxed naturally without alcohol, and I
Yes.
I am
And then
authentically relaxed at
And
that
then I
point.
think when you practice deep breathing while saying that's part of rewiring that, I think.
Yeah, yeah. We really the breathwork part of my course is so powerful because a lot of us are not breathing, and
Yeah.
really does a lot of what we do comes back to the breath.
Absolutely. I mean, and we'll talk about breath work in a little bit because some people really don't understand breath work. I just had recently had a little event. It was like a wellness event in Venice in California. And I had a lot of women come and it was a breath work, manifestation, meditation, little women's networking thing. And
Love
so
it. See? I love it.
most of the women didn't really know what breath work was. I mean, you can say yes, it's breathing, but I like to explain it in a way where for me it's 25 minutes of a breathing pattern and you're essentially moving static energy through your body and out your body. And it can sound like and you just do that on repeat. And so a lot of people don't understand that, but that is such a good way to ground and such a good way to feel more present and in a moment. And I think it's a really good way to, if you're going to try and rewire your brain, to start off with breath work.
100% Arielle, because what you've just described is somatic work. It changes the inner state. When
Yes.
we're actually focusing on what's inside and the
Yes.
breath, we're actually not in our minds and our heads.
Yeah.
We're focusing on the breath. And when we can change our state, we can change everything.
I mean, I felt it so deeply when I first got into breath work, how I cry almost every time I do it. It
Yeah, me
releases
too.
so much
Emotion.
built up emotion. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like and then once I release that, my whole day feels lighter. I feel so much more clear headed.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through a mindful shift, a mindset shift, or oh my God, I can't speak, a visualization someone could try today?
Yeah, I have a grounding meditation that I do at the beginning of every one of my sessions. And it's basically just bringing people back into their body.
Yes.
Because when people walk through the door or when they, hop on that call to start a session, they're thinking about what they have to do, what they've just left behind. So we do it like a little 5-minute grounding meditation. Would you like me to walk you through that?
Could you walk it through without being 5 minutes? Could you do like a 2 minute one for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So let's just take a couple of minutes then, right now.
Okay.
And feet should be flat on the floor, hands resting gently in your lap, and close your eyes. And take a deep breath in through your nose for 4 counts. And exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. Do this a couple of times. Let's just do this 2 more times to find your natural body rhythm. And when you're breathing out, just basically release what's not serving you in this moment in time. Now, I want you to notice 3 things that you can see in the space around you before you close your eyes. Observe the colors, shapes, and textures without any judgment. 3 things. Now, I want you to notice 4 things that you can feel right now. Feel physically, maybe the texture of your clothing, the temperature of the air, and the surface supporting you. Now, be aware of 3 sounds that you can hear, whether they're near or they're far away in the distance. I want you to notice right now 2 things that you can smell or that you can taste right now. 2 things. And keep in the natural rhythm of your breath or during doing this. Finally, bring your awareness to 1 thing that you're grateful for in this moment. Return your attention to your breath. And as we prepare to end this grounding, set an intention for your day. And when you're ready, gently open up your eyes.
That was really great. And I
Good.
can see how that could take somebody if they were having anxiety or they just were feeling like frantic or anything like that, that can really take them from a 10 to a 0 and
Yeah.
just, yeah, that's
Yeah.
really nice. I love that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
So you've created a free resource with 5 tips for alcohol-free living. Can we
Yeah.
walk through a few of your favorites?
Yeah, I think the one thing how I start, when I'm coaching is really establishing a why. Why do you want to change your relationship with alcohol? What is driving you? What are you losing when you are drinking? So
Yeah.
establishing your why and your motivation is the driver of this course.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so important. And then also another tip in there is basically identifying triggers. Like when do you drink the most? Do you drink alone? Do you drink with friends? Are you
Mm,
drinking, at the same time? Yeah.
that those are good. And when you do notate when you're drinking with friends or alone, what is that meant to do for, like, how does that help with this?
It makes you really aware of the patterns that have
Yes.
been established in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are certain people that you may drink more with, and there are
Mm,
other people that you may not drink with at all. And it kind of then makes you kind of like it. evaluate, okay, so when I'm with this person, we go out and we drink a lot.
That's really interesting to think of it that way. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that will definitely bring some clarity to some relationships.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't mean that you're gonna learn to redefine your relationships with this
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many, I listen to so many things and watch so many things on Instagram and things about how the people you surround yourself with, how much it
Mhm.
really forms who you are as a person. Um,
100%.
and so I've definitely noticed that. I've had a lot of changes this year, and I've definitely have been focusing in more on certain friendships over others for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I hope that's been a good thing for you, and I'm
Yeah, I
sure it
think it
has.
has. It has.
Yeah.
So you talk about journaling as a form of rewiring. What's one journaling prompt from your guide that listeners could try tonight?
What is one journaling prompt? It would be basically to create affirmations for yourself to empower you in this decision. That is part of rewiring. It's not woo-woo. It
Yeah.
really is very powerful to journal affirmations,
Mm-hmm.
and then take it a step further and have them posted in places that you are going to see them every day. At
Mm.
your, bathroom mirror and your kitchen,
Yeah.
um, as you're driving, at your workspace.
What are maybe one or two affirmations that you can share for people who really don't even know where to start with the affirmations?
Yeah, I am enough
Mm.
the way that I am.
Hmm.
And
That's
I am,
beautiful.
yeah, I'm surrounded by love.
I just did this breath work. It's with the Pause breathwork app. Was
Mm,
a self-love journey is what it
yeah,
was. It was a breathwork one. And I had at the end of the breath work, I fell into this really deep meditation, and it was essentially just all my loved ones surrounding me with love and light. And I felt
beautiful,
so incredibly loved
beautiful.
as I am. And I think a lot of people, like I had never done a self-love focused on self-love in my life. And I think this is a topic that a lot of people probably neglect. And maybe they're people pleasers and just worrying about what other people think. But I think if we all could focus inward and remind ourselves how loved we are and we are not alone, we are
Yes,
not alone and you're so
not
loved.
alone. We are
Yeah,
not alone.
I love that.
Absolutely. That's
So,
beautiful.
what advice would you give someone who wants to cut back but doesn't identify as having a problem? That's a good one.
It's a great one. That's a great question. I think when I'd reviewed that question prior to today, one thing stuck out. When you don't identify of having a problem, I think that if we're brutally honest with ourselves, if we want to cut back, there's a reason. There's an underlying issue of why we want to cut back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first step is to really just be brutally honest about the fact of identifying that there is an issue here.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be labeled as anything, but there is an issue. And just to really be open to the growth and the beauty on the other side of not drinking. I think that when we are walking into the unknown, it's really scary. But
Yeah.
just be okay with that, because living in just like the known in our lives, it 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 doesn't give us the opportunity to see what else
I
can
also
be.
think it's important to note that it might not be necessary. The problem that you're feeling might not be like a problem that society classifies as a problem.
Exactly,
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly,
But
exactly.
it's just a problem for you. It's
It's
not a
just a
problem.
problem.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's so individualized.
Yes. I
Our
love that.
journeys are all so like they're all so different.
Yeah,
They're
not
all so
everybody can
different.
sleep. Some people can sleep better when they drink alcohol. For me, I can't. So for me, that's
Right,
the problem. That is actually one of the biggest reasons I've chosen not to drink, because I don't like the fact that I don't get a good night's sleep afterwards.
right.
Um,
Right. And there's a reason for that, by the
yeah.
way. It's numbing you, and then it's basically surging your body with, stress hormones and cortisol at the same time, and it's just like waking you up, and then
Yep.
that creates the anxiety.
You
And
hear
like you
that,
said,
everybody?
yeah.
So many women talk, and they say, I just want to take the edge off with some wine. But they don't realize that it's truly is dulling their happiness and their joy.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite ways to take the edge off without losing that, inner light?
Fundamentally, the drink is not taking the edge off. It's a quick fix, and we think it's taking the edge off. But what are we doing prior to that? How are we coping with stress? How are we coping with our responsibilities in the day? What are we doing to supplement our self-care? Are we doing exercise? Are we eating right? The edge can come from so many different places. But that's what we have to look at is what are we taking the edge off of? And
Mhm.
what are we doing on a daily basis to help manage the emotions, the responsibilities? The drink isn't going to fix that.
Yeah. What are some ways that what are some things you do, Sarah, that replaces the act of drinking or celebrating in that way?
Yeah, I would say at night I have a nighttime ritual. I have a Tulsi tea every night with chamomile. I'll do a stretch. I'll do like a 15 or 20-minute stretch or a yoga. I'll turn off, the TV and I'll read. I have a nice wind down. And for celebrations, I come prepared. I come
Yeah.
prepared with my own beverages. And by the way, the astounding amount of people that actually want to partake is actually really funny.
Yeah.
You don't think that they would, so I always take extra.
Yeah.
And I go in with the confidence knowing that I'm going to walk out at the end of the evening and feel that I was so present.
Yes.
I was able to speak to everybody. I remembered what people said, and I was really my authentic me. And that
Yeah.
took a while to really step into. Um, we drink for confidence. We drink because
Totally.
we feel that we need to celebrate. But I just did my son's wedding. And, again, I've done years now of celebrations, and they've been probably some of the best best celebrations I've ever had in my life.
That's so great. I love that you did that. You were able to have because weddings are just so heavy. Like most weddings
Oh,
I've been to are
yeah.
just heavy drinking
Yes.
and staying up late and partying. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that takes guts for people and confidence to go to these events without it. And I challenge you, whoever is listening, to go to your next event and choose a mocktail.
Yeah, choose a mocktail. And one brand that I absolutely love for these kind of bigger events is Three Spirit. It's a functional spirit. There's lots of functional brands out there that will basically be mood boosters.
Got
So if
it.
you need a little extra support, you're going to have those, ingredients in there to give you the energy and to give you that little boost of
Love
feeling
that.
good.
Can you
Hmm.
repeat the name of that?
Free Spirit.
Free Spirit. Okay,
Free
cool.
Spirit. Yeah, it's a functional beverage. It's a UK brand.
Nice. So many people associate socializing with drinking. What are your favorite alcohol-free swaps or ways to make gatherings feel fun and inclusive? Now, you've just mentioned free spirits, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's something in my life that, we're sober curious in California, or California sober. They call it, and it's a THC drink, and
Yeah.
it's called Pomos that I love. And
Yes.
essentially you just can pour a little bit in a glass with some pressed juice and some club soda, and it truly takes
Beautiful.
the edge off. And it's just like a light feeling that I love
Yeah.
to feel.
Yeah.
But there's other ways to take the edge off, but for people who don't want anything, I totally understand. So what besides free spirits, is there anything else that you can suggest?
Yeah, so that, like you said, Ariel, there are functional spirits. There's a one called To Be Honest. It's made up in San Luis Obispo, and that's got hemp and CBD in it.
Okay.
And then there's non-alcoholic champagnes. I was a big champagne drinker.
Mm,
So I love Free, which is found in your local grocery store. I love French Bloom, which is a vegan organic wine that's made in France,
mm,
associated with the Tattinger family. And there are non-alcoholic beers now. So,
yes.
faves are Best Day Brewing and Athletic Brewing. And there's all kinds of different RTDs out there now, ready to drink. So it makes it very easy to grab those RTDs and throw them in your bag and take them with you. There's a new one that's out on the market called Gem Blends, and it's an adaptogen drink.
Great. Well,
So
anyone who
yeah.
doesn't know where to start, we got a good list for you here.
Yes, yes.
So, you've hosted some really beautiful alcohol-free events and retreats. Can you share what those experiences are like and how they help people reconnect with themselves and to others?
Yeah, it's so beautifully gratifying, Arielle, when I put these things together, because what I hear from the community afterwards, after they've attended, and kind of what they walked away with, and the friends that they've met, and what they've learned. I've done women's retreats at Murrieta Hot Springs. I've done annual day events that go all day with panels and non-alcoholic, mocktail bars, authors, inspiring speakers and classes. And these events have just, they've just been life changing for the people that have come to them, and life changing for me, just seeing how many people really need and want this.
Yes. And like, I think that the people who do choose to give up alcohol tend to be more spiritual, and you tend to attract more of the like-minded people in this space. So I think it's such an amazing community for just networking in general, probably for people who just, yeah,
100%.
want to connect with, people who share the same values.
Yeah, and I want to say, Aria, a lot of people that come are not non-drinkers. They're just curious.
Yep.
They just want to they're okay. I want to look into this. What is this
Yes.
about? And sometimes they can't even get a friend to come with them. And I've known that and heard that. But when they've come, they've made friends. They've come by themselves.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's nice. Sarah has a discount code for her services, which we'll get to. But, if you, I don't know if that applies to events or anything like that, Sarah, but we'll talk about that at the end.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so if someone is ready to start this journey today, what's the first small shift you'd encourage them to make today?
If somebody is ready, it's basically, make a decision right here and now that you're making an empowered decision to change your life.
Okay.
And really just look in the mirror and say, today I'm going to make and, take the first step to changing my life and changing my relationship with alcohol. When you declare it to yourself, and when you write it down, it makes it that much more powerful. And I would definitely bring in somebody else into that as well. Share it with your husband, share it with your wife, share it with, a
Your
friend,
partner,
your
friend.
best
Yeah.
friend, partner, because once you proclaim it, it makes it that much more real. I remember when I first had made the decision to stop drinking, I created an Instagram account around this, Pure Clarity Now. And that really was an accountability for me. Okay, I'm really making the commitment this time,
Yeah.
and started then posting and sharing, about where I'd come from and where I wanted to go.
This goes all the way down back to like just manifestation. If you want to manifest something, speak it into the
100%.
universe.
Speak it into existence. Yeah.
Yes, totally. Like I knew I wanted to my line to be on a certain home shopping network, for example. And and so I spoke it into existence, and where it's happening. But my point is that when you speak it, it it does come, and tell people, because
Tell
a lot
people.
of people keep things to themselves because they don't want to jinx
Yes.
it. But I
Right.
believe in the
Or be
opposite.
judged. Or be
Yes, or be
judged.
judged. And I truly am, like, I just met somebody the other day who he didn't want to tell me the name of his new business because he said, "Oh, I don't want to jinx it. If it's trademarked or whatever." And I was like, "Okay." I personally feel the exact opposite. I want to say it and believe that it's happening, and then in my experience, it helps it come to life. So,
It does, Ariel, because once you say it, then you start to embody it. It's
yeah.
an identity. It's
Yes.
an identity that you then assume of that decision that you are making.
Yeah.
You identify as this founder, as this, this strong woman that's creating and it has created a beautiful brand.
Yeah. Yeah. So, where can our listeners find you and download your free PDF guide?
Yeah, so slide into my DMs at Pure Clarity Now and DM me with 5 tips, and I will send you the PDF. And the discount code, I will send that to you at the same time. And that will basically give 20% off of my services. And this is an exclusive discount created for Mama Soul community.
Thank you. And the discount code for anybody listening is Pure Clarity 20. And can you share your website as well, Sarah?
Yeah, my website is actually under construction right now, and it's Pure Clarity Now. It's literally going to be we're just redoing a lot of the things on there and adding
Yeah,
the new elements that I've created. So,
that's exciting.
yeah,
So the
so
best way to follow to get in touch with you is through your DMs on Instagram.
yes,
Great.
yeah, absolutely. And in the tip guide, there'll be my contact information as well and my email address. And I'm here. I'm here for your community with any questions. Even if somebody isn't ready to work with me, I would love to be a great resource, inspiration to answer any questions and help
I
at
love that.
any level or any part of the journey.
Thank you. And I just want to leave everybody with one thing. And to me, my favorite thing you've said so far, and there's been a lot, was I am enough. I
Yeah,
think that goes really deep for a lot of people. And
yeah.
so I want everyone to repeat that to themselves when they're listening right
Mhm.
now. I think that's just such a great way to end this session. And if there's anything else there that you want to add for a affirmation or a mantra that you live by in your alcohol journey.
I would say that to add to that, Arielle, I would say that it starts with you and ends with you. It starts with us and ends with us. It
Yes.
doesn't, it's not, we're not, shouldn't be waiting for the other person, for our life to be better, for something to happen. When I get more money, when I get more, of this, and when I can do this,
Yes.
it really is just starts with us and ends with us.
Yes.
Because once we embody that, everything around us just shifts.
I love that so much. Thank you so much, Sarah. Loved having you on.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And yeah.